episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast. And we made it to episode number 5 for The Last of Us. And we continue things for Ellie and Joel with being able to try and make their escape out of Kansas City. And in the game, it's really in Pittsburgh, but that's like the only really interesting different change, especially going to the fourth episode and what happened there and where they ended up being at. And it was also very interesting too. We had this episode early, so it was yesterday because the Super Bowl is this weekend and it'll be on Sunday. So I'm actually recording this on Saturday, so the day before. And really enjoyed this episode too, being able to see Sam and Henry a lot more and to be able to deal with Joel and Ellie and to be able to try and help them out and see where things would be able to go. And we saw them how they managed to survive and being able to not be bothered with Kathleen and her group. And Kathleen wasn't really in the game, but the rest of the group basically was, and especially Sam and Henry. So being able to see how they survived and how they managed things, and to be able to get by and be sneaky that way, and just go about their day and everything. So that was really cool to be able to see that. We saw basically uh, how we able to see the actual comic book be into play and everything. So that had a lot to deal with this episode as well. Um, they were able to actually deal with Ellie and Joel and be able to work out a plan and how to get around things and to be able to help them get out of Kansas City. So the plan was to go underground, and they waited things out with Kathleen and her group. So being able to try and see what would happen going underground, it seemed okay, but we were able to see basically discovering where other people went, how they were able to survive that way, but not for long because eventually they were being infected and everything. So it seemed like a great plan for everyone else when shit hit the fan and being able to survive that way, go underground. But that wasn't really the best idea after all. But they stayed as long as they could, and you're able to see them adapt and be able to create like a whole environment down there. So it was really interesting to see that as well. Then, as they move on, they end up finding a house nearby. Everything seemed promising, but they ended up dealing with a sniper, being able to attack them and being able to try and escape the sniper, with Joel being able to be sneaky and sneak up behind them and attack them, uh, trying to make sure they won't uh, kill them and everything, but they wouldn't listen. They almost attacked Joel. So Joel was able to actually save himself and everybody else by taking out the sniper. I just think, uh, just when things actually feel like they were going their way, they were able to deal with Kathleen and her group and everything, and they were trying to take away Sam and as well Henry on that. So things got basically worse from there, and being able to not only deal with that, but we then get to see not only clickers, but we're seeing clickers with a bloater. So we did get to see the bloater actually be shown and looking really that much more scarier and adding a lot more into everything, and being able to see things get chaotic and crazy and out of control. They were able to take out Kathleen and her group, so they were stopped there. Sam and Henry basically trying not to get attacked and everything, which is crazy. And Ellie actually saving them along with Joel, so that sniper ended up coming in handy. Then I believe with Sam, he ended up actually getting infected, which definitely does suck, and not to be able to see that happen. And it was kind of like kept as a secret, so they didn't wanted to worry Henry or anything like that. So definitely upsetting to actually see that, and Ellie actually protecting Sam and trying to use her blood to actually help him and everything, since she thought, especially with her being immune, she can use the blood to actually help him so that they get to fully uh, help him after all. And he ended up turning, and Henry ended up attacking him and stopping him and being able to be not only upset about that, but ended up killing himself in the process. So they both ended up being killed, unfortunately. So they did everything that they could to help out Ellie and Joe up until that point. So wish it didn't have to go down that way, but they were able to get a burial by Ellie and Joel, and this whole search is able to continue, and that's what we're going to do the next episode. So without getting far too full in depth as always, but just getting into what basically what went down for the most part. So it's definitely an uh, roller coaster ride for sure with this one. So far, episode 4 has been my favorite in terms of with not only just the game, but the TV show in itself, besides episode 1. So we'll see what happens into the next episode, which would be back at its original time and date for Sunday for next week, I do believe. So that should be interesting and exciting there. So definitely leave your thoughts down below in the comment section if you're watching on the YouTube side of things. I appreciate you listening as well for the audio version of the In the Hot Seat podcast for this week's episode of The Last of Us. So a little weird watching it on a Friday, but really cool on that note. So I didn't have to really interfere with the Super Bowl. So that was really smart and that. So I really like hearing the positive feedback with The Last of Us so far, that everyone's enjoying it, and being able to see the comparisons from the game to the TV shows, really cool side by side. So that about does it for this week's episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast for The Last of Us. Be sure to check out the In the Hot Seat podcast with the link tree linked in basically on all the socials as well. So we're on YouTube, uh, Anchor, Spotify, and basically wherever you get your podcasts as well. So I will catch everyone in the next episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast.